guys. I hope everyone's having a good day. I'm having a great day. The sun is out. It's 40 degrees today, which is much better than it's been for a while, so I'll take it. And I'm not working much today because I blocked off most of my day because I have divorce court today. So yay. Progress, hopefully. So if you don't know, me and my husband, we've been split up for about 15 months, and we were together 10 years. We have 2 kids together, and being married to him was very stressful. It was very difficult because he has anger issues, and I was the punching bag. I was the verbal punching bag. I was the physical punching bag. Over those 10 years, there was many incidents of violence, and I was strangled more than once. I was punched in the back of the head while trying to escape from him while I was pregnant. I was pushed off of our porch, locked out of our house. I had phones broken by him more than one time. He broke things in the home. He broke a lot of things, and he broke furniture. He broke walls. He broke fragile things of mine. And when he wasn't in a full-blown physical rampage, he was still always just bitter and angry, resentful. Nothing was ever good enough. Nothing was ever done right. Nothing, and everything was my fault. So that was the kind of life that I lived, and I lived to appease to him. I strongly believed for a long time that underneath all of these layers of anger and resentment was a genuinely good person that just needed help, and that I could help him, and I could bring out the best in him, and we could all be a family. We could be a happy family. We don't need to be, split up and all that. So I fought like hell to make it work, and nothing I did ever worked. So we did marriage counseling. That was a disaster. I made him do an abuser program. He completed the program, didn't help anything. I called the police on him many times, which is why he broke my phone twice, because on those occasions he was able to get my phone from me and break it. So he would literally snap my phone in half to prevent me from calling the police. I had to take shelter at my neighbor's house probably a dozen times, sometimes with the kids being there too. And I just, eventually realized this man is not ever going to change. And even though that he might be a good person on some days, and he might do some things that would be considered honorable, that doesn't make any of this acceptable. And I don't deserve to live the rest of my life like this. I don't want to live in a relationship or in a home with someone where I don't feel safe and I don't feel appreciated or respected. And, not only that, but we don't have much in common. He doesn't like to do fun things. I'm spontaneous, I'm fun, and he's not so much. And, doing fun things was stressful for him. Holidays, he ruined all of them. Vacations, he ruined all of them. Temper tantrums, just any type of wave in his day was going to cause an outlash. And it was going to be me that was receiving the outlash. And I just got so fed up, and you know, I had self-esteem issues, you know, more so when I was a bit younger, and I've grown out of that. I have proven to myself that I am worthy. I have 2 successful businesses now. You know, I'm killing it. I'm a hard worker. I'm smart. I'm funny. I'm fun. I'm pretty. I'm a good mom. You know, I'm a good friend. I am worthy. I am worthy of something so much better than what I'm receiving. So the more that I realized that, the more that he wanted to tear me down, resent me. And I'm just like, dude, I'm on my way up. Like, I'm climbing up and I'm not stopping. So either you come up with me or you're getting left behind. And, well, obviously he's getting left behind. So, the final, you know, well, the last couple months of our relationship, I had been fed up with him for a long time. I had just dealt with a strenuous experience of opening my new salon. It was a building that I bought that was a gut project, so I had to gut and renovate it. I had to general manage the whole construction process, which is something I've never done before, and it was extremely stressful. And I spent every single day pretty much of that year and a half at that building, hands-on doing things to try to get the project done. And you know, and then going to work and taking my clients so that I could have some income and I could pay all these contractors off and I could pay for all these materials we needed, and you know, all the things that the loan didn't cover. And in the end, you know, I paid every dime I could, and then I had, you know, major credit card debt after it was all said and done. So, and I knew I could pay it all off before the interest kicked in, as long as I was diligent, and I knew it was going to be okay, but it was extremely stressful. We opened the building. We literally, the bank refused to give us another extension on the project. So we already had a 6-month extension, and we were down to like failing inspections still on like the last day, and we had to like beg for them to approve the inspections with contingencies that we would fix whatever issues after the fact. So it was extremely stressful. And I went through this basically on my own because he was very reluctant to help with anything. And, you know, I did get him to do some things that are just out of my realm of like handiwork. And he is a handyman. So I did get him to do some things, but he did them with terrible resentment and attitude, throwing tools, cussing at me, making me lift things that by myself that were extremely heavy, just to, you know, show me how angry he was. And it was just a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. And I resented him after that. I'm like, I can't believe what I had gone through and how you made it so much more challenging and more difficult. And I literally had to not tell him about like anything that was happening with the renovations, because if I did tell him something, he would criticize me, he would attack me, and he would get angry. And, you know, nothing was ever done the way he would have done it. And it was a nightmare. So I worked closely with my dad and my brother on any questions I had about everything, because they are level-headed, you know, reasonable people that are knowledgeable on these things, and I could talk to them respectfully. So after going through all of that, literally the only reason that I didn't leave him during that time was because I couldn't financially justify moving into, you know, a different house, because I was building up all this debt, and I was just barely getting by with the renovations. So I just couldn't do it financially. But I did end up moving into our spare bedroom at the house to get away from his nastiness. And so I set up my clothes in that room and all my stuff, and I slept in there for not that long, maybe a week or so, a week or two maybe, because that made him more angry and resentful. So I, after fighting about me moving into that room, then I did agree to give him another chance to try to make the relationship work. He had said, that opening the salon was so stressful for him. Yeah, for him. Mind you, he has a full-time job that he was at 40 hours a week, and I'd be lucky to get him to spend 3 hours a month on the weekend at the building doing something, but it was very stressful for him. And now I owe him like $100,000 for all the labor that he did for me, apparently. That's what he told my divorce attorney. Yeah, it's a whole other story. So so where was I? So I finally decided to give him another chance because, I've already given him a million chances. What's one more? He's begging for it. So I moved back in the bedroom, and I plan a date night for us. So we go out, and that ends up being the last night of us being together because he loses his mind again, and it's about money and how I didn't pay him for any of his work, and now he's got to buy dinner, and just petty stuff. So he goes into a rampage, and I'm not arguing with him. Like I already know that doesn't get me anything good. Like he's not to be, there's no reasoning with him. So it's not like arguing with him is gonna get, him to understand anything. So there's just no point. So he's already in a bad mood, and he's been drinking, so he starts, driving psychotically because he gets mad that he wants to get something from the drive-thru. I think he wanted to get some ice cream from a drive-thru, and the line wasn't moving. So then, he goes into a fit of driving, scares everyone. Me and the kids end up getting, we're just crying for him to like stop driving psychotically. And then he kicks us out of the car in the middle of the night. Well, in the dark. It's like 8 p.m. I think, and we had just picked the kids up, and we're like a few blocks from the house. And so we walk home, and when we get there, he's locked us out of the house, and he's screaming at us to get the F out of his house. And I get in the house, we get in the house, and I'm like telling him he needs to either leave or he needs to go in the basement, because me and the kids don't deserve to be treated this way. And until he can calm down, he needs to remove himself. And he didn't like that, of course. So he attacked me, and he had already before this been breaking furniture and shoving something into the ceiling to make holes in the ceiling, and just acting all type of psychotic. And so he attacks me. My 4-year-old tries to push him. 4-year-old tries to push him. Her hands go on like his thighs because that's how tall she is. He pushes her back, and she flies back and hits her head, and she's crying. Well, 8-year-old is recording all this on her phone. So, I called the police for the millionth time on him, and this time they had evidence of child abuse, and they don't play around with that. So he refused to leave the house voluntarily, so he left with lots of bruises and things going on his face, because he obviously got in a physical altercation with the police, and he left in an ambulance. So of course, months later, when I had the opportunity to talk to him about that situation, he felt, he was a victim. He was a victim of police brutality, and I don't remember what all he said about it, but it's just, that's his mentality. He's always the victim. So, and it's narcissism. Anyway, so yeah, he was forced to move out of the house during the court case, and he did get his felony reduced to a misdemeanor. He still has his job. He's living with his parents, and I filed for divorce. It hasn't been an easy road, it hasn't. I was really struggling at first, those first few months especially. Like, I was just feeling like I want my husband back. I'm just used to him being there, and we go through things together, like I'm just used to it. It's comfortable. And I just didn't feel like any of my friends were really there in the way that I needed them to be there. And I did make some effort to make new friends, and I did make some new friends, and I finally was getting myself out there and socializing, and even started dating eventually, and life has been getting so much better, ever since I've stepped out and allowed myself to live. And I reconnected with an old friend that I used to work with, and he happened to also be single, and we've always had a strong connection, and just we have similar personalities, and he's an entrepreneur, I'm an entrepreneur. We're both spontaneous, funny, and we enjoy doing a lot of the same things. And he was also in a bit of a rough patch of life, feeling like at age 38 he still hasn't met the right person, and he just doesn't know what he's doing with his life, and he's just feeling like life is kind of lame. So he was in a down spot, and dating me has completely changed his life and inspired him to start working out again, eating healthy. He's even gone vegetarian, because me and my girls are vegetarian, and he's everything. He's everything. He literally, he calls me queen, and he treats me like a queen. We've been together now for 7 months, and almost, every day we're together, and we do everything together. We cook, and we have fun. We do things with the kids. He loves my kids. We're planning our future. Like, we have so many goals and things that we want to do. We're planning where we're gonna be living once we get the divorce finalized, and so we're really excited about starting our home together. And he's such a good person, such a good, genuine person, and just watching him be this happy just because of me it's just everything. It's like it's all just fallen into my lap, like the stars have aligned, and I just feel so blessed. I feel so blessed. I feel like guardian angels have literally came and put everything right where it needs to go. Like all the pieces are just falling into place. And I'm so excited for the divorce to finally happen so that we can just do all the things that we've been planning and live the rest of our lives happy, you know, feeling safe, feeling loved, feeling appreciated, having a partner that you enjoy being around and that enjoys you. And yeah, it's beautiful. And I really at times thought that it wasn't going to happen, or I wasn't going to meet anyone, you know, that like all the good men are already married at this age, and like everybody I hear goes through all these horror stories, like they're getting cheated on, they're getting people, you know, stealing from them, using them, or, you know, whatever it may be. It's just like, or, you know, I just feared that like I would end up with someone that I'm like, like they're a good person, but like we don't really have that much of a connection. Like we don't really have the passion. Like I am a romance girly. I am like The Notebook is my favorite movie. Like I was looking for Noah. I found him. Life is good. So I'm gonna just keep rambling on. So I'm gonna end this. But if you're in a similar situation, like there's hope. There's hope. Okay, bye.